Heyo, we are live. We're coming back. When I say we, I say me because it is just myself tonight. Dr. Grant is hanging out at home. He got a little afternoon off, so me and Cam are like, dude, get on out of here. Dr. Cam is having his coffee and community night at Guillermo's. And so we got a one show host, Dr. Chris here with us specific. I'm coming to you live, guys. Um, Friends that are popping on, see some names, some eyeballs coming on. Say what's up. I want to know who I'm hanging out with. What's going on, Katie? Um, Say what's up as y'all pop on. Like I said, it's just me tonight. Just going in on some stuff that I've been thinking about. I had Dr. Grant didn't want to leave. He had a heavy morning, and then he didn't have anybody in the afternoon, and he one man shows all we need, Matt Fryer. What's going on? Heck yeah, dude, that's what's up. Um, but Dr. Grant, he had a stacked morning and then he didn't have anybody afternoon. And so we're like, dude, like go home, man. Like this is why we have multiple docs here is for you to be able to take a break, for all of us to be able to take a break when we need it. And so I took his keys in his backpack and I just started jiggling him. I was like, come on, boy, come on. Come on, I'm gonna put your backpack outside, Grant. And I went and walked it all the way back. And we basically almost had to like pick him up and force him to get out of the clinic and go home at like 2 o'clock, which is not something that he normally does. Neither either any of us really normally do. We actually kind of had to force ourselves to even just take a day off on Monday for Eclipse Day. We had a little team lunch. I was about to say dunch, dinner and dinner. Oh my goodness, team lunch at Ninja around 11, and then we all just went home and took an afternoon off, and it was great. So like I said, Grant's hanging out at home. He's probably watching this. He's gonna be all like, "How is Chris doing this?" And then Cam is at Coffee and Community, and I was going to one thing about what I was going to talk about. Um, so for me, I'm going to Italy in a few weeks. I'm going to Italy in a few weeks on April 23rd. I'm going to Venice, Florence, and Rome. I don't know if anyone here has been to Italy or has been to Europe, maybe for that matter. But it is super cool, very gorgeous. And I was thinking for me, it's coming at a really awesome time because it'll basically be my first month in practice. That's for me. My dad also recently turned 60. We have Mother's Day coming up. I also have my birthday, both my mom and my sister's birthday. So spring is a very active time for us. But just for me, in terms of like career and practice, is being a year in and being 16 months in Arkansas, which is a pretty crazy journey for myself that I've been on. And I was just kind of reflecting on that, sitting in this chair waiting for this live to start, and I was thinking about how when I came in and joined or started essentially when I moved, I was pretty gassed up to get going. I had been doing training with Grant for about like 3 months or so behind the scenes. We were doing weekly calls. Italy, yeah, dude, Italy's on a lot of people's list, Matt. Italy is awesome. It is super awesome. I went to Florence and Rome in 2021, and it was gorgeous. Oh my gosh, beautiful! Just the architecture and everything, super cool. I love like Greek mythology too, so I was super into it. But when I showed up, I had done all this prep and training. I was like, man, I just want to like do this thing and actually see it work, and it does. And when I was starting out, I was super intentful and connected to really like why I was going in on all the stuff I was doing and the intent behind everything that we were operating within individually within the confines of the clinic and the specific. And I think that's really hopefully the message that you guys will be able to go home with tonight, from this live is kind of getting it back to like why you do what you do. Why do you why do you get up early and go exercise in the morning? Why do you get up early and read scripture and pray and have a good breakfast and spend quality time with your wife and kids, or attend your wife and kids, or husband, or grandparents, parents, grandchildren? Why do you work as hard as you do? Why do you not take days off? Why do you rarely go on vacations? Like and also when you do go on vacations, why do you go on vacations? Like getting into that actual like reasoning behind all of those little things, and really not just a superficial reason that's you're doing the thing for, but more so that deep underlying one. And for me, I was super connected and driven in the mental health space. And not saying that I'm not that I haven't been. It's just I haven't been as connected to it as I had been 16 months ago. And I think part of that is just being in practice for a year now and doing all the stuff that we do on top of seeing patients, and really focusing on the clinic itself. But the reason that we focus on the clinic is that deeper underlying thing. And I know for Cam, his has a lot to do with his mom. His mom passed away when he was 10 due to brain cancer. And he has some pretty significant memories, stories of that whole process and the aftermath of it, and how he used to operate. I know Grant used to get super intense migraines playing baseball, just getting hit in the head. He played football in high school, and he used to get crazy gnarly migraines in college to the point where he almost had to like sit out games, and it would put him on the shelf. And if anyone on here knows how Grant operates, he's not a kind of guy that's going to pull himself from the lineup and sit. And so he had to play through that. And he said that he had games where his head was hurting so bad that he couldn't even see the ball. For myself, being the kind of more so in the mental health aspect, I had one of my best friends, actually, my best buddy from when I was 7 to 21. He committed suicide when we were 21. He was my play catch partner for 14 years, and we played all together through as a kid, through teenage ball, high school, went to high school together, traveled all over the country together. We played catch together. We were the two runts of the litter. I was on a group of guys since I was 8, where we basically all were on the same teams as we grew up, and we're all made varsity together as freshmen, sophomores, and kept on um, moving up the ladder. And pretty much for 10 years, we were one of the top like teams in the country. And me and my buddy, his name was Jr. Santiago. We were basically the two runts of the litter. Everyone else was bigger than us. They were faster than us. They were stronger than us. They threw harder than us. They hit the ball farther than us. And we just had to do what we had to do to keep up. There was about 8 of us, and 7 of us went on to play Division One baseball. The only person that didn't was my buddy Jar. He was all of our buddies. Really, he was the glue of our team and team chemistry, and he was a goofy dude. He was our second baseman. He's who I learned how to do the Muffin Man impersonation. Not the Muffin Man, but the little gingerbread from Shrek. I don't know if you guys like. Do you know the Muffin Man? And then the little Lord Farquaad says the Muffin Man, and then he goes the Muffin Man. Oh, I guess can't believe I just did that on camera on live with people watching that. That's awesome. Little tribute to my buddy. Whenever like in practice, we'd be doing ground balls or hitting, and Jr. would mess up, make an error, or not hit the ball good. He'd do that. Then whoa, no, not my gumdrop buttons. Oh my goodness, those are some good memories. And so we won a lot. We were one of the top teams in the state, California, back to back years. We were juniors, seniors. We were one of the top teams in the country, back to back years. We had 7 guys go on to play Division One just from our class. I think right now we have 3 guys in the major leagues, and Jared was one guy who didn't go on to play Division One baseball. He wanted to play junior college. His junior college was close to my college, and so his college was in between my undergrad and home. He'd go and help out his grandma and stuff, and so he just popped by. He was the kind of friend where he'd call me, be like, "Yo, Brownie, what are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm about to go study for a calculus midterm." He's like, "Cool, great. I'm 2 minutes away. Open up the door when I knock." And I'm like, "Dude, I don't even know you're coming. Like, it's a Sunday night. I have an 8 a.m. midterm, and then this guy's just about to show up at my house." Like that was the kind of relationship we had. And when we were 21, back in 2018, he committed suicide. Um, and that was I found out from my high school coach. My high school coach went around and gave all of us a call. We played with him and let him know, and we had his funeral a couple weeks later, and we had our entire 10U team showed up. Then we had it was like 180 like high schoolers there, people who I would never thought I'd ever see again, seeing them 3 years later. And JR really was, he was everybody's best friend, and yet didn't consider anyone else close enough to where he could open up about whatever he was working through and dealing with. Um, and I didn't talk about that for like 3 years. I didn't talk about that for like 3 years at all. What really prompted that was when I was 24, back in chiropractic school. The story came out about a Giants baseball player who tried shooting himself in the head, and the bullet went out of his orbit, blew his eye out, went out of his orbit. He was in the Giants minor league system. You can look it up. And just reading that story, I think I resonated a lot with it. Just being having a baseball background and being a cheerful, handsome face, but yet not really like sharing what was actually going on inside the guy's head. So um, that kind of really flipped a switch for me. And I remember when I was reading that article, it was during COVID. I was in quarter four school, and um, I wrote out something. I wanted to share the article, and I wrote out something. I was going to post it in our student body Facebook page. And granted, no one knew who I was. We were online. I've been online for a year. We had hands-on class like we had like one hand-on class a quarter essentially at that time. And so I was on campus maybe 1 hour a week doing hands-on practice and going back home. So it was COVID. We're all masked up and everything. And so no one knew who I was. And I just kind of felt compelled to write something. So I wrote something out and deleted it 3 times. And like I was crying and stuff, and it was an emotional memory for me. And eventually I just clicked post and just chucked my phone in my bed and went and worked out in my garage. And that was kind of the kind of the turning point for me, and actually speaking out about it and talking about that, and not just necessarily not the impact that that had on me specifically, but just the overall concept of it. I mean, I had multiple teammates who dealt with like anxiety, depression, a lot of teammates who opened up about suicidal ideation, and I think I now have 2 or 3 that actually committed suicide, guys I played with and stuff, and, it's never easy when you get that kind of a news, um, and it's very prevalent, not just in the athlete world, but in the world overall, and that was a big proponent, and still is a big proponent of, the message that I do my best to put out, um, and really the big intent behind why I do what I do is that, and and it is kind of what I'm going to be doing about my buddy passing away and committing suicide. Um, and like for examples of that, I did a blog last year called "My Mind Is My Friend." I did that about once a week, and I'm actually turning that into emails. And so if people are on email lists, I'll be sharing those. Um, yeah, I have the intent at some point getting on like a mental health board, a state board, and helping operate that, because this is actually, now I'm just kind of getting free flow story mode, but this is actually how I ended up in Arkansas. I ended up in Arkansas because I spent that entire year following that article that came out in quarter four, trying to figure out how I could connect the dots between chiropractic, neurology, and mental health. That was my whole MO, is how are these 3 linked? Because I know for a fact that they are, it's just it's not being directly like taught in one of my classes. And I was starting to hone in and say, okay, it's something to do with this whole upper cervical thing. That was actually around the same time I got introduced to upper cervical, and I'm a science junkie. So I was like, okay, this kind of makes sense. But they didn't actually connect the dots between any kind of stress or pressure on the brainstem, and then mental well-being and anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation. And it wasn't until about a year later when a doctor came and taught a seminar at our school, and his name was Dr. Grant Dennis, and he taught a seminar at our school, and he laid down those pieces connecting the dots for me. And that's when I was all like, okay, I get it now. Like, this is hyper clear. This is why I'm doing upper cervical. Um, it's not just because of people who are dealing with chronic health conditions. It's not because of Um, like seeing family members go through it, and that's, I mean, that definitely plays a big role. But the thing that got me into upper circle in the first place was trying to connect that dot, because I initially wanted to provide care for athletes dealing with mental health um, issues. And that was my primary reason for getting into upper circle in the first place. And then I started learning about the power of it and everything. And then I really wanted to cater a message towards athletes after their career, because athletes after their career, a lot of times that sport is like their identity. Like they're like, I am a football player, I am a basketball player. Not that my name is Tyler and this is the sport I play. Like there's no separation. Most of the time in athletes, there's no separation. And I had a lot of friends, especially in high school and college baseball, who after they stopped playing ball, they had a tough time figuring themselves out, figuring out their MO and what they're going to be doing with their life. They didn't go to college for school; they went to college for baseball, and so being done with baseball, and then not getting drafted in the pros, you don't have that backup plan. So I'm very grateful that my dad instilled in me that, hey, you're going to college for school first, and you're able to play baseball. So luckily for me, I had that intent of, okay, I'm going here for school and making sure that this is taken care of, because school is what's allowing me to play baseball. Also, baseball is also what's allowing me to pay for school. And so I was really pretty keen, especially in school, like you're trying to figure out who to cater your message to, and who you're trying to fill your practice up with. And I thought I was going to be really targeting a lot of former athletes who were dealing with mental health issues. Um, and a lot of times when it comes to what I've learned when it comes to mental health is a lot of it gets expressed in the body itself. And one of the main causes of at least like depression, um, is body pain, is pain in your body. Because if you wake up every single day and your body hurts, that's just a knock on your brain. And that's just a knock on your mental well being of being like, shoot, dang it, another day with this. Great. And then you got to get up and get going. And then you just have to suck it up and deal with it. You go to bed thinking and hoping maybe tomorrow this will all go away. You go to bed, you wake up, and it's right there again. And that is an energy sucker. That's an energy sucker that's tapping from your well being. And because it's subtracting from that, what's going to get offset with that is going to be a lot of negative down thoughts, a ton of negative down thoughts. Um, and, uh, And that's very true. Seeing people who are here, who come into the specific and are working through that, almost I don't like. I could probably count on maybe two hands, potentially one hand, the amount of people that me personally, just me, that I'm taking care of, that has not marked either anxiety or depression in the psychological history. I'm managing like I'm closing my first year. I think I'm managing close to like I might be at like 40 people right now, which I'm happy and proud about. I think my goal at the beginning of last year was to be around 60 in my first year. So not necessarily at that number, but I know that I've been doing the stuff, the process. Um, and so that's why it's not necessarily about results all the time. It's about process. But anyways, um, I think I could probably, if I'm probably around, I would say maybe seven or eight people that have not marked anxiety or depression on the psychological history. Yet they're not coming in primarily for anxiety or depression. They're coming in because of migraines or autoimmune, or typically it's the actual physical manifestation of the thing in their body, but it's not the root issue. It's just the symptom. So they come in talking about the symptom, and then we dive a little bit deeper and unmask this conglomeration of things. And it's like, okay, this is actually what we're addressing is this melting pot. I know you're right now fixed on this, but this melting pot is really where you're trying to go on. Absolutely. This book, Body Keeps the Score, get that. Also, I'm going to post right here, breaking the habit of being yourself. That will blast your brains. Um, and uh, and so with that, what I'm I mean, I've gone through it too, just like being hurt, had some numerous injuries, whether it be from my lower back, elbow, leg, and every time for me, what really sapped me out, A, was not being able to do the things I wanted to do, especially on a daily basis. Um, I mean, I'd had back spat. I My very first back spasm when I was 14 it lasted for 4 months, and you can't tie your shoes, you can't get your shoes on, you can't take your socks off, you can't do the dishes. Um, I mean, it got me out of doing the dishes, so I didn't do chores, but it's like you can't sit in a chair. You have a tough time getting out of the chair. Back spasms suck, and I have a tough time breathing with it. Tough time moving. Like it's just rough. Um, and uh, and just like having those injuries or those physical things come up that prevent you from doing what you want to do. It's the act of not being able to do what you want to do to the right capacity. That's one of the initiators, especially a physical stressor, that can lead you down the road of depression because you're not doing the thing that you want to do, and also anxiety because you're worried about a flare up if you try to do the thing that you want to try doing. So it's a two sides of the same coin. Depression is you're sad that you're not able to do the thing that you might want to do, or if we're talking about something physically speaking, because you also have mental and emotional and chemical too. So you have physical stressors, chemical stressors, and emotional stressors. So those are the big three. And so really, especially there's people on this call right or on this live right now that might be struggling with anxiety, depression, or maybe the suicidal ideations. Talk about it. That is one thing that if I were to go back and sit down with 21, 22-year-old Chris and just be able to take him out to lunch and stuff, I'd be like, dude, there's a lot of power in just having one person in the world know what's on your mind, on your heart, on your spirit, on your soul. There is so much value in just one person knowing out there in the world that know what you're got going on. And not the face or the mask that you're putting out on the world or that you're putting out on people and trying to be all cheerful and stuff whenever you interact with someone, but it's like actually like what is actually like what's the thing that keeps on coming up on your mind? What's the thing that where are you stuck at? Like where you feel trapped at? Where do you feel encased in and trapped in to where if all it took was just sharing it with someone, not even asking for someone to help you out, but just to get someone just to listen. There's a lot of power in that and a lot of value in that. And I think that is one thing I would let 21, 22 Chris year old know because um, I didn't even start that whole process until I was 24, just reflecting on my buddy passing away. And now I'm like, shoot, okay, if I got something on my head or that's on my mind, like who can I talk to just right now to just let me work through this and get it off. So I've learned to like close that time gap down as quickly as possible because the longer that that lingers, the more that's going to be taking root in my system, and thus it's going to start festering because roots grow into what fruits, and if we have a bad root, it's going to be a bad fruit. And a lot of us like to look at the fruits of everybody. We don't actually like to take in and take inventory of the roots. I would like to, if there's any kind of poisonous root that might be taking place in my tree of my system and experience of life, then I would want to get that thing cleared out and checked up on ASAP. And so I find one of the best ways, what I'm learning is one of the best ways is to talk to someone. And if you aren't comfortable talking to someone, one of the best ways to go about it is journaling. And those two things are something that I personally have just found power in just over the past 5 months. So it's pretty fresh for me. And I've been super into reading. I've been into reading my whole life, but I've been really into reading like development books and just principle like self-help books. Not necessarily for me, although I do get a lot out of it for myself, but also how can I facilitate this to others? Because one thing that I really learned um, just over these past, like I guess since 2019, when I finished up undergrad and playing college baseball, was that majority of humans operate in the state of being a pilot or not being a pilot. Majority of humans operate in being a state of a passenger, not a pilot. What do I mean by that is majority of us, probably also some people on this call, are a passenger to their body and their mind, where their body's holding them back from being able to do what it is they want to do. It's holding them back from being able to be present with the ones that they love, and it's holding them back from being able to be present with themselves on a consistent basis. And their mind is doing the same thing. The mind is holding them back from being able to do things they want to do on a consistent basis, from being able to be present with the ones that they love and value relationships and interactions with most, and also interfering with their ability to be present with themselves. And the mind and body are completely intertwined because how you think dictates how you feel, and how you feel dictates how you think. And so, if you aren't feeling good, do something for your mind. Do something to help you think well. And if you think well, then you'll start feeling good. If you aren't thinking well, if your thoughts are in a bad pattern, what do you do to get out of that pattern? Do something for your body. Go move, get outside, get a little bit of exercise in. That's the kind of mechanism that I hope that you guys might be able to get out of this as maybe a at home or take home thing. Um, is that basically when one thing isn't feeling right, do something for the opposite, and then you'll start getting all these neurochemicals feeding back into each other, and then they'll start kind of re-obtaining balance and harmony. But I bet you, if you do something for your mind through movement to feel better, you will also think better. If you do something for your mental being, for your thought space, I bet you your body will feel better. That's just how these things are connected. And that's big. One thing that I've learned over the since 2019 is how many humans are just passengers to their body and mind, not being the pilots of their lives and health. And it's a being in a state of activation. It's being in a state of momentum. It's being in a state of discipline, motivation. But I think really that was actually what I was literally reflecting on just before I even started this, was like me coming up on my last year, and I had a super busy March of trips going to Dallas, Waco, moving. I think one of the guys that helped me move is on this call right now, and I keep calling the call. It's because I'm doing this on my phone because my laptop camera's busted, so I'm streaming through my phone. But I was really thinking about, like, last year. I was crazy gung ho about spreading this message, and um, I've been kind of on not hammering that into people I'm interacting with, or even just on any kind of platform that I had the opportunity with. I did a lot of workshops last year, and haven't necessarily had those opportunities come my way yet this year. I'm not saying they haven't; they just haven't yet. But I was big on pushing that message of being the pilot of your life and health, not the passenger to your body and mind, and operating very strongly within that confines. And I just had the reflection before I started this that that's something I need to get back into. And I think if I operate back into that state, then a lot of things will just happen as byproducts. Because if you operate within your purpose and your passion, and why you do what you do, then everything else will just flow through. It's just a natural byproduct. Versus if you try focusing on these other things, then those aren't the actual true passion, and that's where burnout is going to start getting hit, and that's where you start going to get tapped and lose energy during the day and during the week, and not really be inspired and motivated and juiced to get out of bed and go do what it is that you're doing and meant to do. So I really hope and encourage that for those on this call. Just to keep saying it's a call. For those that are on this talk and this live stream right now, hopefully, I hope that takes home not just mine, which is facilitating myself and others towards being the pilots of our lives and health, not the passers to our bodies and mind, um, but also for you to be able to identify the confines of your own purpose and um, why you do what you do, and then when you find out why you do what you do, then you can figure out what you stand for. A lot of people do resonate with what you stand for, but that fire, that fuel, that intensity, that really comes from that underlying deep why, and sharing that with people, whether it be your immediate family or your extended family or your friends. and seeing them operate at a different wavelength that you know that they can, because you can see their potential in them. Maybe they not be operating at that capacity. Um, so if there's anything that you guys can take away from this little tirade I just went on for the past 30 minutes, it's to really identify that deep underlying root of why you operate the way you operate, and how you want to kind of lead, inspire, what legacy you want to leave behind, um, and how you can leave either yourself or your family or your friends, your community in a better place. And what's that impact that you're going to be walking away with? Um, and I hope you guys maybe go write that down, or maybe ask yourself that question. You know, what is it? What is that one thing? Write a letter to it. Write a letter to that version of you that was all fueled up, or maybe whether that's past, present, or future. Write a little letter to that. I think that goes a really long way. Or maybe to that version of you where you got lost. Write a letter to that version of you, and let those thoughts flow out and pour out, and you'll be getting a lot from that for sure. Um, I would love to hear some takeaways from you guys, because I pretty much just went in on a monologue for 30 minutes and just free flow, but I felt compelled to say that. I felt compelled to share that, and to just go in a little reflection with all that. That was just what I was thinking of. I thought I was going to talk about Italy and taking trips and how it's important to go on vacations, um, but I wasn't feeling that. I literally changed that thought up like 5 minutes before hopping on here. So hope you guys got something out of that. Like I said, it would be cool to hear some takeaways from you all that are listening. Um, and what we're gonna do, if you are there, as always, we do giveaways. We do giveaways on these socks, and for the most part, they come in the form of gift cards. Now, if Melanie Albert's on this call, I just want to let you know we do have your Everbowl gift card here, and so that's always fantastic. Got that. Melanie is just crushing the wins. But what I do want to do is give away a nice little massage. That's what we got. Um, Melody's all like, "I'm here, I'm here." She wants to win that money. Let's give that away. Comment. Hmm, let's see. What are we gonna comment? We're gonna comment. We're gonna comment mental health. I want to comment that. I want to see that pop up in the chat. Comment mental health. Do you want to enter this right now to win a massage? Comment mental health. I want to give away a massage. Thank you, Matt, for those words right there. Like I said, I just want to. I just felt compelled to share that off the top, literally 5 minutes before hopping on here, and just go in on that. Not, I mean, I felt if it's good that you guys hear that and know that, and I think that that also is going to be a nice little trampoline ramp for me, um, just kind of stepping back into that space of of how I operate and my communication and language, and not just with my patients but also the community, and really what I'm operating on, versus just writing that in a journal and get back in the state of being it, not just thinking or doing, but being that. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hyper appreciate that. Um, this one felt good. This one felt true. This one felt to the heart. Wasn't just some random topic that we come up with the week of, and hope that you guys enjoy it or find entertainment from it. That was just a very true, transparent, open reflection that I just went in on. So I thank you guys for listening and tuning in. That means a lot. Um, and I think if you guys resonate with this stuff, I think this might be the way that we go move forward. Just being more like this, versus necessarily just kind of banter for 20, 30 minutes. But that's fun too. We'll mix all that stuff in. So, all right, let's give away some stuff. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people coming in for massage season. I am going to do a random number generator Random number generator. I don't know if can I flip my camera? All right. Random number generator. Think. We're going 1 through 5. Random name generator. I don't need a name. I need a number. They're trying to give me a name generator. I'm not trying to name a kid right now. Okay, there we go. We're locked in, guys. Hey yo. All right, so we see min 1, max. Let's recheck the polls. We still at 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still at 5. So now this is going to 5. All righty. We're here. Click generate. What do we got? We got 1. 1. 1 is Melody Albert. Winner again. I don't know how the universe is conspiring this right now, but Melanie is taking y'all's lunch money and then some. She is basically tipping all y'all over and just letting the coins fall out and saying, "Get that in my hands." My goodness. I think this might be Melanie's 4th or 5th time winning this. Yeah, just like Grant said, we're going to schedule a Vegas trip, and we're basically just going to put Melanie in our suitcase and have her go to the Mega Jacks Million jackpot thing, because apparently she's got the golden touch. 4th W. We need to have a leaders board. We need to have like a ranking of how many people have won. Because right now I think Melanie's in 1st and Karen Underwood's in 2nd. So you guys are crushing it. Melanie went to the horse race and never won a dime. Well, I think that's going to change because 2024 is apparently your lucky year based on how this is trending, because you're dominating leaderboards right now. That's awesome. That's super awesome. Next week, we will have all 3 of us, and then I'm going to be in Italy. So don't be surprised if you get emailed some pictures from Italy from me, just little check-ins and stuff. I will probably have my Nikon fresh and ready. I also need to get some Petty Jean pictures off my Nikon and share that with you guys, because they were some very nice waterfall pics. So thank you all for tuning in. 7:07. Let's go enjoy some dinner. Get going. Oh, Michelle Price, a little late to the party. Sorry, Michelle. Melody took home the prize. I'm signing off, everybody. Hope y'all enjoyed this. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate that a lot. Once again, it's Chris with Specific. Take care.